Cathy, your current art practice must be got on the easel at the moment.
Okay, hi Maeve, you're very welcome to Wayside. This is one that's not long finished. It's a watercolour of Wally the Warrior, and he's he's our only rooster outside, so this is for a charity cookbook. Today we're going to deal with the works from life, where I'm painting directly from life. So I've just done a series of rose paintings. Well, I did them just recently in the summer, and this was the first one, I think. It's a lovely summer's day, so it's a lovely burst of colour, and this was the second one, and this was the third one. The final was 1, 2 and 3, and each painting was finished by the day. I might have come in and done a little bit in the studio afterwards, but the rule I had for myself was they had to be finished by the close of evening, because I don't like to rework a painting. I find then you're making a picture as opposed to painting. The works from life, I want them to be as spontaneous and as natural as I can, so if you go back to them the next day, you're kind of making a picture. Fortunately, I didn't throw out the palette, so I can actually show you for this painting. This was the last painting. I can actually show you the palette of paint and the big wads of paint. There's always a little bit of waste even when I'm teaching. I tell people there's always waste with oil paint, and you can see that the lovely fat palette, as I call it, it allows you to really kind of indulge in the paint and the flow of paint.
And you do underdrawings for these works?
No, I don't, Maeve. The first thing I do is I put all my paints into this big box. Usually these are defined by colours. That's what I go outside with.
Yeah.
I bring this old thing, I throw that down on the ground. I always take off my shoes. As much as possible I'll try working bare feet, because I was saying to you earlier that you just get that lovely sense of the ground and being earthed and just being very with nature and letting the kind of paint flow through you. It might sound cliche, but that's kind of what happens. It just, everything starts to flow and you're connected to the subject that you're looking at. Anything, but there were just probably 3 small flowers I brought into the studio, but they're painted in the same way. Even though I painted them in the studio, they're painted directly from life. No pre-drawing, you're drawing as you paint them, and you're making the composition as you paint them. You can see the drawing process there is really evident with the paint, where you're rubbing back and you're just keeping drawing, keeping with the painting. So it's very active, it's very physical, and it's like music, really. It's happening as you do it, as opposed to the reference work like Wally, where it's slow, it's methodical, you know what you have to do. With this, you have to go with it, very like music. You just have to go with it and be ready to see it and not overwork it, which is very easy. We have an orchard outside, my mum and dad's orchard, and the apple tree was all in blossom and very badly pruned, because it hadn't been pruned. That's why these bits are up in it. But then I painted it over a weekend. Mix, I'll use a gloss varnish and a matte varnish, a little bit of turpentine, and I mix a new varnish, kind of like a satin varnish, so it's not so glossy, it's not so matte. And then I paint that on when the painting is probably sitting in the studio for about 6 months. Sometimes if it's really hot, if the weather's really hot, you can get by with less, maybe 3 to 4 months. If the paint is thin and fully dry, you can paint it up and you're not damaging the work in any way.
And what is the point of varnishing a painting?
Well, it's just a preference. I like just that glistening, and you described it like silk. And I like that softness. Some works I won't varnish. I don't feel they need a varnish. I want them to look matte, so I leave them matte. But it can just give a lovely softness and a lovely finish. I suppose years ago it was done as a protectant. If you didn't have glass on it, yeah, the varnish protected your painting. If you're putting glass on it, you don't need to varnish. But it just changes it again, and sometimes it can just give a very finished, lovely, silky, I think, I suppose is the best.
And you